Okay, Barbara, it's all yours.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see some of you all, meet some of you all, and hopefully stay connected with you all as well. My name is Barbara Holt Streeter, and I serve as the Director of the Strategic Partnerships Office here under the Office of the County Executive. I'm just looking down, we have over 145 participants. So I'm going to give you a hand for taking this time to really learn as much information as possible about our Community Partnership Grant. Thank you to Ms. Sheila Curry, who's been the administrator for this for the past almost 5 years, and she's going to be able to share additional information about it. What I do want to share with you all are the 3 C's that I want you to keep with you as we begin to continue to build this department. It is connect, collaborate, and cultivate relationships. Connect, collaborate, and cultivate relationships. It's what we call the C3 experience. And this really is part of the C3 experience, sharing with you the Community Partnership Grant, sharing information on how we can continue to help you build capacity. There are almost 7,000 nonprofits in Prince George's County, and you are representing some of the greatest ones here. So we thank you. So today being the first day of our opening of our portal, then the next day, and we'll tell you more information at the end of this session, is November the 1st. Some of you all have already heard about it. It is our nonprofit empowerment symposium, November the 1st at Prince George's Community College. You need to put it on your calendar, bring your people. It is going to be amazing of information to share with you. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate, I see Miss Kim Rim. She celebrated 30 years as nonprofit industry, 30 years. Give her a hand clap. I was there to celebrate with her on behalf of our office and most importantly, the county executive. But to know that someone has been doing what you all are doing for 30 years, it's time to celebrate. So again, thank you for this opportunity. And remember the 3 C's for the Office of Strategic Partnership. It is connect, collaborate, and cultivate relationships. Look forward to meeting you all on November the 1st. Get the information from Ms. Sheila and take time to learn more. Have a great one. Thank you, Ms. Sheila. It is all yours.
All right, Barbara, thank you so much. All right, folks, so we are I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to do this whole presentation through a PowerPoint presentation. And if you have questions, please remember to put them in the chat box. We have the wonderful Kanika Bynum from the Office of Management and Budget, which I think many of you know already. She's going to be checking the box and we'll answer questions throughout the presentation. I'll stop and answer some questions. So let me just admit some more folks in. If Juanita, while I'm doing the presentation, if you could just check that admit so that if anybody joins later, we can admit them all. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. We have 166 people so far. This is awesome. Yes, it is. Okay, let me see. All right, can everybody see that? Yes, okay. All right, great. So let's start at the beginning. So Barbara did, and Barbara is our new Director of Strategic Partnerships. If you guys didn't know that, she's been with us for, I think since May. So she's doing a fantastic job and we love her. So we're just going to go through the timeline of the Community Partnership Grant. I'm going to do an overview of the application, and just so everyone knows, the application has not changed at all. It is exactly the same as it's been for the last few years. It is again in the portal, in a electronic portal, and it is open today right now. If you go to our website, the portal is open and you can begin applying today, right now, this morning. So if you want to open it up while we're going through this PowerPoint presentation, you certainly can do that. It might be helpful for you. All right, so we'll go through who can apply, the online overview, and then just things to remember. Okay, so like I said, the portal is open on our website. And when you open up the county's website and you go to the Community Partnership Grant website and our webpage, that's what you'll see. This Apply Now box right here. If you click that box, it'll take you right to the portal, and that's where you can apply for the Community Partnership Grant. So the deadline to apply for the grant is Friday, November the 10th at 5 o'clock. Friday, November 10th at 5 o'clock. We will shut down the portal at 5 o'clock, okay? So you have plenty of time to apply. We want you guys all to apply, but know that it will shut down at 5 o'clock and you will not be able to even enter the portal. And we do not accept any paper, emailed applications or any of that. Once the portal is shut down, it's done, okay? So the award decisions should be out by March of 2024, and then the grant funding that will be paid out to all the awardees will be sent out on April 24th. The final report, most of you know, we only ask for one report at the end of your program. So 30 days after the end of your program is when you will submit a final report, and that's in the portal as well. Information about that, and you can always email me at the PGC Nonprofits email address if you have questions about that. So so that's 30 days after the end of your project. If everybody could mute themselves, that would be great. All right, that's our webpage where the application portal is right now live and open. So you can start applying right now today. Okay, and the maximum award has not changed. It's still $100,000. That's available to apply for per application. You may not receive $100,000, but you certainly can apply for that much. But you can apply for any amount, but the limit is $100,000. Okay, who can apply? So you have to be a 501c3 organization, deemed that way by the Internal Revenue Service. You have to be in operations for at least 2 years, 2 years in operation. And you have to serve residents of Prince George's County. Your organization can have you can be located in another state, Virginia, DC, or somewhere else, but you have to use the funds to serve Prince George's County residents. Okay. And you also must be in good standing with in whatever state that you were originally incorporated in. That's the state that you have to be in good standing. So for most of you already familiar, most of you are from Maryland. So to get that good standing. So you have to be in good standing with the state. Okay, so I'm going to go through the portal. There are 15 sections. Well, really 16 with the organizational information on the very first page, but this has not changed from last year. It's exactly the same. So this is what you'll see when you first open the portal. When you click that link on our website that says apply now, it'll take you to this page. This green box at the very top, start CPG application, that's where you will start the application. So you click that link and it'll take you to the very first page, which is organizational information. Okay, and this box down here, once you begin the application and you click save, for instance, let me just move to the next. Once you complete this organizational information on this first page of the application, and it's really just the nonprofit's name, the address where you serve residents in Prince George's County, that's very important. And all of the rest of the information. I think the most important, they're very critical pieces of information on this page. Where you serve Prince George's County residents, that's very important. And the email address. So the only thing I changed this year was I have 2 places where you can put an email address. One for the contact person, whoever is checking their email every day, who is, maybe the grant writer in your organization or whoever is completing this application, their email is first. Please make sure that email address is correct, it is current, and it is somebody that is going to be checking that email all the time, because that's how we're going to contact you. That's how we're going to send you, if you're awarded funds, that's where we're going to send the award letter. So please make sure that email address is correct and current. The next email address is the email address of the executive director. So please put that in there as well. I think this year I'm going to send those award letters out to both emails to make sure that somebody is receiving that award letter, because a couple years we've had folks that did not receive the award letter because either the executive director had left or the contact person had gone. So we want to make sure those email addresses are current. But anyway, once you complete this information and you click save down here at the bottom, you will receive an email from the portal. This is what the email is going to look like. Make sure you look for this non-reply at COPGMDUS, okay? And you look for this in the subject line, the Community Partnership Grant Notifications. That email will let you know that you have started the Community Partnership Grant, and it gives you an application tracking number. That's this number right here, because you may not complete the application all in one sitting, okay? You can start it one day and, finish it the next day or the next week. But this is the ID number that you will use to get back into the application if you have not completed it. And so let me go back to the very first page. Once you have started and you click save on that first page and you get the email, when you want to go back into the portal, you put that ID number here in this box and you click check. That will take you back to that front page where you started. It'll keep all of the information you've already submitted. As long as you click save, it'll save everything you've already submitted, and then you can just pick up where you left off. Okay?
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
I just want to read a couple of questions from the chat just because it's something that you just spoke on.
Okay.
So one question is, if you're not in operation for at least 2 years, can you have another organization serve as your fiduciary?
No. Now, you can use fiscal sponsors, and that's a part of the portal, and we'll get to that section, but your organization has to be in operation for at least 2 years. And the reason why is because part of the application asks for a Form 990 or an audited financial statement. And generally, if you've only been in operation for, a year or less, you will not have had time to file a 990 or may not have an audited financial statement. And we need those documents in order to verify your financial information. So it usually takes about 2 years for people to get to the point where they have been in operation for a year, and completed a Form 990 and submitted it to the IRS. The IRS has received it, and we can see it on the IRS website. So that's really the reason for the 2 year. And just so you can have yourself organized and up and running. But you cannot use another organization if you have not been in business yourself for 2 years.
And Ms. Curry, another question, and I think you've kind of answered this, but can you have a DC address where you provide services?
So your organization certainly can have their headquarters or their office in DC or Virginia or any other state, but you have to prove and show that the money that you get from us serves the residents of Prince George's County. That's why it's so important on this page to put the address where you're providing service, okay? Because one of the things that you'll agree to if you are awarded funding and we do send you that agreement, we potentially could come out to the address, wherever you say you're providing services. I might come out for a site visit to see that you're actually providing, services to Prince George's County residents, but your headquarters could be somewhere else. That's fine. But you have to serve Prince George's County residents. Did I
Thank
answer
you.
that question?
I think so. And there's a follow-up question to the fiscal sponsor, but that's later in the application, so we can just make sure to draw that out there.
Okay, just remind me in case somebody
Yeah.
has another question at that point. Okay. All right, so the very first section is the service category. So when you select this box, this drop-down box, it'll have different service categories, like whatever your program is serving. If it's education, if it's youth sports, if it's training, if it's veterans programs, or health, mental health programs, whatever it is, you will click that box, let us know what service category you're in. And then these categories down here, it's just to tell us, what population of kids, of citizens you're serving. If it's pre-K, elementary, middle school, high school, college, adult, or seniors. Section 2 is the support category. So we want to know what you're asking us for. Is it program support, general support, or other? If you click other, a box will come up and then you can explain what other is. But generally, most organizations are asking for program support. There are some that do ask for general. There's no preference. We don't give any preference to program or general or even other. But just if you do click other, just let us know what that other is. Okay. Section 3 is funding request information. So this is where you'll put the program or project title, how much money you're requesting in this application, the period that it covers. Some people are doing maybe 6 months if it's the first semester of school, or the whole year. Just depends on what how long your program is covered, and the number of people that you plan to serve. It could be 2 people, it could be 1,000 people. It's just what your program is serving. Section 4, this is lists sources and amounts of other funding obtained, pledged, or requested for the program. So here we'd like to see if you have applied for grants for this same program. And don't hesitate, or don't, please put those grants and contracts and things in here, because we want to see that you are applying for other grants, that you're not just relying on the community partnership grant to support your program. So this is a very important section. Section 5 is partnerships. So here, if you are partnering with an organization, or a lot of folks partner with the school system, if you are working with kids, so you can say yes, just click yes here. And then if you have an MOU, don't have to have an MOU, but if you have one, just browse on your desktop and upload it here. Fiscal sponsors. So this is, I think, what we were referring to before. And you can have a fiscal sponsor. That's perfectly fine to have a fiscal sponsor. So you would click yes here. You don't have to have a fiscal sponsor, but if you do, put their information here and click save. And there's a second part to partnerships. So this is part 2. If you have a fiscal sponsor, we will require them to answer, pretty much the same questions as we're asking you. So they will have to upload the first page of the community partnership grant application, which is just their name, address, and that sort of information. We will also ask them to submit a budget, their organizational budget. So if you click the blue link here, it will open up a template for an organizational budget, and that they will have to submit, and then you will upload it here and save it. Okay.
Ms. Curry,
Sure.
we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
And so something you said before about the address where you provide services, if you provide services at multiple locations, how do you want people to handle that in terms of which address to use?
Oh, so you know what? In that very first section here, where it asks for the address for where service is provided, that box will allow you to put lots of addresses in there. Because I know there are folks or organizations that do a lot of work at different schools and or different areas. So you can, even though the box looks really small, once you click in it, you can add a lot of stuff in there. So and if it somehow, I've tried to get OIT or our information technology folks to add as much space as we could get in there. If it runs out, don't worry about it. Just put the rest of it in your proposal narrative. Okay. And that's a great place to put it as well, just so as we're reading that narrative, we can see that you guys are working at different sites and different schools at all the locations of where you're providing services. Actually, it's a great thing to put in the narrative too, so that we can read how and know how much you guys are doing.
Okay, one more question from the chat, and then Miss Flattery, just letting you know I see you. Another question in the chat, is a partnership necessary to be approved?
No, it is not. You can certainly apply alone, but if you have a partner, and there's no preference. We don't weigh any application higher if you do have a partner or if you apply alone. So, but there are a lot of organizations that do have partners and will apply.
Okay. Miss Flattery, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Yes. So you said we should include the number of people we'll serve. That should be just the Prince George's County residents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when you're thinking about this application, it is all just Prince George's County.
Okay.
Okay.
So some more questions in the chat. Miss Curry, could you just give a definition of what is a fiscal sponsor? And what does that mean if an organization wants to apply with a fiscal sponsor?
So, yeah, that's a little bit of a difficult, that might be a question that we could, that whoever is asking that question, I could write you a better answer if you send that question to the PGC Nonprofits email address. And if there's several people asking that question, we could certainly post that on our website, or it actually might already be answered in the FAQs, the frequently asked questions section of our website. So because that's a bigger, more meatier question that might take up a little bit too much time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and I think there is another one. Let me just respond there. So we have, okay. Do we need an MOU for each partner if you wanted to list your partners?
No, you don't. You're not required to have an MOU with each partner. It's just a good thing to have, because it does show you have an actual written agreement with your partner that we can actually see and read and see what the partnership is. So it's a great idea to actually get the MOUs and submit them in the application, but no, you don't have to.
Okay, and last question, can your partner reside in another county?
Yes, your partner can reside in another county as long as, if you are awarded the funding, that funding is used for Prince George's County residents. Okay.
Great, I think we're good to move on. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. So that's the fiscal sponsor stuff. And there's just lots of information about the fiscal sponsor that you'll have to upload. That's why this is a larger question. So just whoever that was, just submit a question to, or call me to my phone number will be at the end of this PowerPoint presentation, and we can talk about it over the phone. But the fiscal sponsor also has to upload audited financial statements, proof of their IRS tax exempt status, a list of their board of directors. So all of that has to be uploaded. But I'd love for you, whoever that is, to call me or shoot me an email and we can certainly discuss. Okay, so section 6 is presence in Prince George's County. And once you click the drop down, it just you know, it's either 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10, however long you've been in Prince George's County. The next section is 7 is service by councilmanic district. We just want to know which district you're serving, or you could be serving them all. You can click all the boxes. But a lot of the council members want to know if you are doing service in their district. Section 8 is prior year grants and or contracts. So if you have received grants or contracts, even because a lot of our departments, health department, social services, family service, give out contracts with nonprofits, click yes here. If you click yes, another box will pop up where you can actually list the contracts. For instance, the community partnership grant. If you received funding last year under FY 2023 or 2022 or previous years, list them here. We want to see what you guys are receiving from Prince George's County. Again, this doesn't affect whether you will receive funding this coming year or any year after that. We just want to see. Section 9 is the final report requirements. So this section, if you have received community partnership grant funding in the past, or particularly just last year, and you have not submitted your final report, which is fine, because your program still might be running, it may not be completed yet. This is where you can upload your final report. So you would click, you have not submitted it, a box will come up, and then you can upload it right there in the portal. If you have not submitted if your program's not finished, that's fine. Don't panic. It's okay. Just submit it whenever it is completed. But if you have a final report for prior years, 2019, 20, 21, 22, and you have not submitted those, submit them here.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
another 2 questions for some things that we just covered.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the audit that is being required, are there different types of audits that are preferable?
So an audit is there's only really one kind of audit from a certified public accountant, an independent certified public accountant. An independent means somebody separate from your organization, a CPA, that is separate and apart from your organization. It cannot be an in-house financial statement. It has to be with an audit report attached to it saying that this CPA firm audited your financial statements. It cannot be a compilation. It cannot be a review, because those are not audits. They are, a review is a sort of a shortened version of an audit, but it is not a complete audit. That CPA has to put his stamp of approval on your financial statements saying they are in good order.
And then our second question is, in terms of detailing which grants you've received from the county, do you want people to know do you want them to know both county executive grants and county council grants?
Yes, or any department, any other agency within the county government, like the health department, family services, social services, the police department, the school system, wherever in the Prince George's County government. Yes, we want to know all of them.
Okay, a number of questions coming in.
Mhm.
Is there a specific date or timeline by which the awarded funds must be spent?
Yes, 1 year from, so once you actually physically receive the fund, if you are awarded, you receive that award letter from us first, then it goes to the Office of Management and Budget, so it goes back to Kanika's team. She will do a few checks. Then it will go to the Office of Finance. So that takes several weeks. Once it gets to the Office of Finance, they will disperse the payments in a direct deposit into your bank account. The day that that deposit goes into your bank account, let's say it's May 15th. If it's May 15th, which will be 2024, you have 1 year to May 15th, 2025 to spend the funding. Okay, you don't have to take the whole year, but you have a whole year. If your project, for instance, if you work in the school system with kids after school programs, you receive the money May 15th. You don't start spending it until August or September when school opens, and you'll finish your program in December when that first semester of school is over. Then that's when your program is over. So if it's over December 31st, then your final report will be due January 31st. And that's when you'll submit the final report, but you actually have 1 year. Okay.
Okay, another question. If we've received prior CPG funding and our project does not complete until mid-2024, are we able to indicate that for the final report question?
Yes, so if you have received funding before, if you go past the year, or if you need to make some sort of adjustment, or something happens, and you need more time or something like that, you can always send me an email through the PGC Nonprofits email account. That email account is in the presentation at the end as well. Send me an email. Let me know what's going on, if you need an extension or whatever it is, just send me an email and talk about it. What I'll have you do is resubmit a proposal and letting me know why you need the time or whatever the change is. And the review panel will discuss it and grant it or, decline.
Ms. Curry, could you go back to the question about what previous awards? I think there's some trouble with interpreting it.
The prior year grants and contracts?
I think so. And so there's a question of, if you don't have a CPG grant, then you would click no here, because your organization hasn't received a Prince George's County grant in the prior 4 years. So if in the past 4 years you haven't received a CPG award, or then you would click no.
Correct. So I think they're talking about the final report requirement here in section 9. No, that's not what we're talking about. I see you, Ms.
Yeah,
Flattery.
can you clarify?
Let us know what you're talking about. Can you unmute?
Yeah, I was trying to ask if we've never received a CPG grant, so we're not behind on our reports, because they.
Okay, I got you. So just click no when the box come up, just write in there, never received CPG funding.
Got it.
And
Thank
click
you.
save. Yep. And if you have questions like that as you're applying in the portal, shoot me an email or call me. Don't wait or hesitate or mull and think about it and drive yourself crazy. Just shoot me an email. I monitor the email all day, and so does Kanika. We will, answer these questions now that the portal is open and people are going to apply. Don't wait. Don't wait till November the 10th at 4:45 in the afternoon to ask a question. Please don't do that. Just ask, call me. Many of you know I'm here all the time. It's part of my job to make sure you guys can apply for this funding. We want you to apply. It's for you. Okay, so I don't want anybody to miss an opportunity. So please shoot me an email or call me.
Okay, there's another question around audits. In previous years, you have accepted reviews for organizations with charitable giving under $500,000. Is that still the case?
We've never allowed reviews. So it's always been an audited financial statement.
Okay, do we want to know about state grants?
No,
I think it just said Prince George's County grants.
yeah, just Prince George's County.
Okay, another question. In terms of, I think this is in reference to the year, is it, we have a year to obligate funds or to spend funds?
To spend.
Okay.
Actually, money going out of the door, spend.
Ms. Walker is asking, last year we received a check in the mail, which might be some time. When would the date be? A year from
When you receive the check in the mail.
Okay.
It's the same as when you receive it in a bank account or direct deposit or a check in the mail. That day.
Okay. Will these slides be on the website for review or emailed separately?
So this whole presentation, the recording of it will be on our website, the same place where you can apply for the community partnership. If you just scroll down, all of the videos for the last 3-4 years, I think, are on that webpage, and this one will be on there as well. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, because that's information technology has to put that on there. But yes.
Okay, only 2 or 3 more questions.
Sure.
This has been asked twice, so I just wanna, could you clarify if you're serving infants, how would you indicate that? Because the age groups start at pre-K.
Oh, interesting. You know what? I don't think that section has an other, does it?
No, it doesn't.
That's a good one. Okay, just click pre-K, and then in your narrative, your proposal narrative, put in there infants. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll change that for next year. I'll put a other. Yeah, but just if there's no place anywhere in this portal for whatever it is you're doing or you want to express to us, always include it in your proposal.
Next question, do we have a list of suggested CPAs?
No.
Next question, are there any restrictions or guidelines on the type of services or activities that are eligible for this grant program?
No. No.
Okay. Is the source of this funding federal or state?
It is county.
This is a grant from
Prince George's County. It's coming from the Prince George's County budget.
Okay, and I think we have a note here from an organization, Metropolitan Washington EAR, that said that they've always submitted a review. I guess not an audit.
Have you also submitted your 990? That's Neely. Is that Neely or
I think it's someone named Nora Hart.
Nora? So if you probably submitted both, maybe your
Yes,
990.
we submit our 990 and our review.
That's why.
Okay.
Because it's really either or. So if
Okay.
you submitted a review, then we just go to your 990 because it's really either or. You don't have to do both, but it's either or. But yeah, under no circumstances do we look at a review. It has to be an audit.
Okay, I guess I don't want to belabor it, but it's okay if we submit the review and the 990.
Yes, you can send us both. Absolutely.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome, Nora.
Okay, I think there are a couple of questions coming up, so
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask this question out loud. I'm trying to, from the certified financials, does it apply only if you have a certain budget, or it doesn't, or does the budget not matter?
So I think so no, the budget does not matter. That's the first, so no to that question. But here's the thing. So if you are a small organization, that's why we require either or. It's the 990 or an audited financial statement. So if you, because there are small organizations that we do understand, because the audit does cost money. We understand that. So that's why we say either or. Okay, so if you don't want to spend the money for an audit, which we totally understand, submit your 990. Because technically it should have pretty much the same information on it.
Okay.
But no, it does not matter your budget size. No, you have to submit one or the other.
How many awards will be awarded?
That varies every year. It's different every year. Last year, I think we gave out 77 awards. All of the awards for the last 5 years, I guess, under the Alsobrooks administration are on the same website. So you can click in there and see all the awards that were awarded every year, but it's different. It averages from some years it's 30 people that get awards. Some years it is, now last year was 77. And I think because last year, the community partnership grant is now at $2.5 million. In previous years, it was 1.6 million. So we got a little bit of a bump in the money that they've allowed us to, put into the community partnership grant. So that's a great thing. So thank your county executive for that, and the council for voting that through. So we're now at $2.5 million.
Here's a question. If we are applying for operational funds, how should we respond to the request regarding how the program will be evaluated, as it is not program specific?
So just discuss how you're going to spend the money, even if it's general support.
Okay. I think the last one, and then we can move on. Is it too late to get feedback submission from last year's application?
Not at all. Just shoot me an email. Then we'll set up a time where you can call me, or I'll call you, one or the other, but just shoot an email and say you want to set up a call for feedback from prior years. And I'll get on the call with you, and I'll just go back through all of your score sheets and your application, and we can just discuss where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, or many times, because in the past we only had $1.6 million, we usually just ran out of funds, because normally we get 150, 180 applications. So it's difficult to fund that many organizations with $1.6 million. That's why we got bumped up to 2.5. The county executive realized, 1.6 is just not enough. So she got us a little bit more funding. So we'll be able to help more folks. But because it's usually not about your applications. You guys do a really, really good job with completing the application. It's usually we run out of funding. But yes, I will absolutely be happy to give you feedback.
And we have a couple of questions about 990, so it might be good to, but this one really quick, just to keep it in order.
Sure.
What's the difference between a project grant and a general grant?
Well, the project grant is the money is going to a specific project or program that you might have in your nonprofit. For instance, like if it's an after-school program, like for instance, if it's an organization that does several things, they might have a program for kids, they might have a program for senior citizens, they might have a program for veterans, but you're applying for the community partnership grant just for your veterans program. So that's a project grant. You're only applying, even though you do these other ones, you're only applying for $50,000 for this veterans grant or veterans program. General support is when you're asking us to support all of your operations that manages all the programs. Okay, so you're asking us to help you with, general operations, capacity building. You guys have rent, you have office space, you have, all sorts of expenses for all of your programs so that's more general. That's helping the entire organization run several programs.
Around the 990, can you speak to, there's two questions that I'm trying to combine.
Sure.
Is a 990 EZ accepted, and are
Yeah.
990 ends accepted?
So yes for 990 EZ, no for 990 N. And you know what I put in here? Let's just skip ahead a little bit. I put, this is a 990 N. So the 990 N can be filed by organizations that have less than $50,000 of gross receipts, which is perfectly fine. Those organizations do great work, and we want you to apply. For the IRS, though, the IRS says, okay, well, organization, if you're less than 50,000, we don't require you to file a 990 or a 990 EZ. The 990 is the long form that you submit to the IRS. EZ is the shorter version of that. It still has financial data on it, but it's a shorter version. The 990N is just this postcard you see on the screen. It has no financial information on it. It has your name, your federal ID number, tax year, start date, end date, And just the submission, that's, IRS details, submission ID, filing status date, and filing status pending. That's all it is. There's not one number on that card that tells the community partnership grant anything. No financial information at all. That's why we don't accept it. Because when you submit your budgets under the community partnership grant application, we like to sort of take a look at those budgets and compare them to your 990 or your audited financial statement to see if they make sense, year after year. It doesn't make sense that this organization has this massive budget, but their 990 shows only $50,000 worth of, and we look back at what other grants you've received in the past, grants you currently receive for this project. So it all has to make sense. The 990N has no financial information on it at all. That's why we can't accept it. So under the IRS guidelines and instructions for the 990, did I put those in here? I did. Okay. In the yellow, now these are the instructions and requirements for the 990N. These are for organizations under $50,000 of gross receipts. In yellow, it says an organization eligible to submit Form 990N can instead choose to file Form 990 or 990EZ, okay, to satisfy its annual reporting requirements. So even if you're $50,000 below or $50,000 or below and can file a 990 with the IRS, you can choose under the IRS requirements to still file a 990 and submit it to them. So for the community partnership grant, it would be wise to do that. Now, I can't tell you guys, if you want to file the 990, you have the right to do that. But for the community partnership grant, we can't accept that. So then you would not be able to, you wouldn't qualify. You know what I mean? Your application would be denied. Let me just say it that way. So you would, so I hope that makes sense to everybody.
This is a question. They're saying that they submitted their 990, but it's not showing up on the IRS website where what you submitted.
Yes.
And so it says right now our information is in the IRS. I'm trying to, sorry, but I think what they're saying is that they have a letter of determination. They have a letter of determination, and right now it's not showing up on the IRS website. And I also have the publication 78 data. I'm sorry, I'm kind of having trouble understanding the question. I don't know if you want to unmute and try to talk through it.
Sure. This is Anna from Linda Benn Foundation. Hi, Miss Carrie.
Hi, Anna. How are you today?
Good.
No worries, darling. What's your question?
Yeah, so I went to IRS and website, and I'm just seeing two things there: the PUB 78 data and the letter of determination. Is there anything else that we need to follow up from them? Because we've been providing them with the 990 EZ and
Wow. So
they
yes.
accepted it.
Yes, you should. How many 990s have you guys, like how many years have you guys submitted 990s?
3 years.
Oh yeah, so it should definitely be on their website. So yes, you should call them. Are you using a private CPA firm to do your 990s, or are you guys doing them yourselves?
We're doing it through a tool. Yeah,
Oh,
but we're
virtually or
processing
electronic? Okay, but
electronic.
and there might be a way through that electronic portal that you can submit a question, but you should definitely call them, because there's no reason why in over 3 years that information shouldn't be showing up on their website. When you do that exempt select search, it should show up.
Yeah. Okay.
And they might send you something back
Yes, they
saying,
do.
yeah, what does it say?
Accepted.
It just says accepted.
No, there's an email telling us that they received it and then they accepted our 99. It was successfully accepted by
Submitted.
them.
I got you.
Submitted, yeah.
But you should call them back and ask them why it's not showing up on that
Okay.
website. Okay.
Okay.
But don't let that stop you from applying for the community partnership grant, because by the time you call them today and by, you know, November, when and by the time we get through the review process, it might actually show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On there. So don't let that stop you. So put in the application, the letter that you received, or the email saying that it was accepted. And then hopefully, you know, they'll get it on their website in time for you to be, you know, when it gets to Kanika's shop, it'll show up on that website. Okay. Don't
Yeah.
stop. Please still apply.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie.
I'm going to try to gear questions that are more specific. I'm going to try to get them to send an email and then we can answer their specific questions.
Okay.
I think you've kind of answered this, but just for some nuance, can funds be used for both general operations and a specific program or project?
No, because that would be two separate applications. So you have to submit one for the program, and then you can only submit one. So yeah, no, you can't do it. The same funds cannot be used for both. Okay.
And it sounds like people are also just noting that perhaps the IRS is behind in filing 990.
Yes, they have been since COVID. So I'm hoping that they get that website updated, because that is important. So folks, please don't stop from applying just because of that. But you have to reach out to the IRS to let them know that it's not showing up, and to see if they can at least move your stuff forward as far as putting on that website. So, but don't let that stop you. Put in the application, upload every email you sent to the IRS or any kind of correspondence with the IRS, and then let's talk about it once the application and review process moves forward. Okay, but don't let that stop you. And that's part of the reason why we ask for, you know, audited financial statements too, you know. So just keep applying, and let us try to work through those issues.
Okay, along the lines of the question that was just asked around general expenses and then project expenses, are indirect costs permitted? If so, is there a cap?
Well, it depends on what they are. It depends on what those expenses are. So that would put an email to me to tell me what indirect expenses there are. And generally there's no cap. The only cap that we have on any expense, indirect or not, is salaries. Salaries is capped at 30% of whatever you ask for. If you're asking for the whole 100,000, then of course that's $30,000. That's the limit that you can ask as far as salaries. Yeah, just send me an email and let me know what those expenses are, and we can sort of chat about that.
Okay, yeah, I think the rest of the 990 questions, I'm going to direct people to just send an email.
Yeah.
Because it can start to get pretty specific.
Okay.
And let me just make sure. Well, this one, what year of a 990 EZ is needed? So I guess how far back will we accept?
So your most recently filed is the requirement. So for instance, and it depends on, you know, there's some organizations that are fiscal years, some organizations are calendar year. But if you're a calendar year, you know that your 990 is due 5 months after the end of the 15th, I think, of the 5th month. So you should have filed for 2023 by now, or no, I mean 2022 by now, right? So that should have been your most, unless you've so, and then there are extensions. So let's just say 2021 may have been your, most recently filed one. And this is October, so even the extended one should have been filed by now. So if you're going back to 2020, 2019, what'll happen is if you're not filing your tax returns on time, that website is going to show that your 501c3 status has been revoked. So that's another reason why we asked for that IRS select check search. Because if you're 3 years in arrears on your 990 or 990 EZ or even the N, they'll revoke your status. So it can't go back too far. It has to be probably within the last 3 years. Okay, but it's different for everybody because people might have a different fiscal year and there might be extensions on whatever they are filing. Okay, so that's a more specific question. If somebody wants to shoot me an email, we can walk through what you have and what you don't have.
There's another question about a NICRA rate. And I think it's grants from public agencies or even private agencies are different from federal contracts, which use indirect cost rates. And so I think this is just a different type of funding where there aren't really negotiated indirect cost rates. And I think Ms. Curry also answered that earlier.
Yeah. But again, shoot an email. If you're not clear, just shoot me an email. That's something we can discuss, later. If you're not clear.
Okay, let's say the last one. If you're using a fiscal sponsor, do both have to provide the financial documents?
Yes, and that's back in section here, fiscal sponsors in section 5. If you have one, these are the things that they have to submit to us. Page 1 of the community partnership grant application, and that, if you click the blue link, that will pop up and they can complete that. They also have to give us their organizational budget. If you click that link, that'll come up and they can complete that. Page 2, they will have to upload their audited financial statements, their IRS federal tax exempt status, and a list of their board of directors. I think that's it. So yes, there's quite a bit of information that the fiscal sponsor will have to submit on their organization. You're submitting yours, they're submitting theirs, so we can see them both.
And another question about allowable cost. Again, I think this comes more from a federal funding perspective, but can costs for contracted grant writing services be included under general operating or as a part of a particular program?
Yes.
Yeah, it's normally with federal funding, you're not allowed to expense grant writing services or fundraising services. We also have a hand raised from
Okay.
Carlos.
Okay.
Do you want to unmute and share your question, or maybe it might have been taken back? I think the hand might have come down.
Okay, no worries.
Right. I think we're all caught up, and I've tried to direct people to send an email if the question feels a little more specific to that individual.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's move on. So I think I can't remember where we were. Final reports. Okay, so section 10 is the proposal narrative. So this is where really the meat, with the exception of the financial information, is really where you're going to tell us everything. Up top, you'll see organizational mission, has 10 points attached to it, statement of need, 20 points, project description, 25 points. You got organization budget, project budget, and organizational information and capability. So the points you see beside it is the number of points that we give each of these sections during our review. So if your organizational mission isn't stated clearly, then, you might get a point or two taken off. If your statement of need is not, clear and full, and, you know, don't just give us, you know, 1 or 2 sentences. If it's, you know, enough so that we can understand what the need is of the community, as well as your project description. That has the biggest number of points because, of course, that's where you tell us everything. Like the organization that serves infants, this is where I would put about what you do with infants, and because that's the project you're asking the money for. So if you're in doubt, put it all in there. Just put it all in there. As long, I think there's a number of 15 pages, not to exceed 15 pages, but just put it in there and explain it to us, what you're doing, how it attaches to the money you're asking for. Always remember, when you're writing these proposals, it has to make sense. The number of people you're serving, what the problem is, you know, if you've done it in the past, who your partners are, does it match the amount of money you're asking for? If you're only serving 2 people lunch every Saturday, then you can't ask us for $100,000 because it doesn't make sense. It just has to make sense. Okay. But always put it in there. And if you have a question about the narrative, just call me or email me and we can talk it through. Yeah. And it just has to make sense. Okay. So this is where you upload that. All right. Organizational information, section 11, that's your entire organization's budget. Goes here. There's a form here. Click the blue link. It'll come up. You complete that. Okay. Next one is your program project budget. Again, there's a link with a template. Complete that for just the project that you're asking for. This one, organizational budget, whole entire budget for the whole organization. Program project budget, just the project that you're asking this funding for. Okay. 13, this is assurances. This is when you click down here by this red star that I affirm that I am authorized to execute this application. This is saying, and this is like you're signing the application once you click this button and save. So you're assuring to us, the county executive's office, that the applicant will administer the funds in compliance with the proposal you're submitting. So you're saying you're going to spend the money the way you say you're going to spend it. The funds received must be used, of course, in Prince George's County. The applicant has read and will conform to the program guidelines, programmatic evaluation, and the financial reporting requirements, site monitoring visits, etc. The applicant organization intends to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, indicating that no person will be excluded from participation or be denied benefits of any activity of service because of race, sex, sexual preference, color, religion, etc. I think everybody knows that one. Agrees to provide its most recent audited financial statements, or 990, and we've talked about that. The filing of this application is made by the undersigned individual, and this individual is officially authorized to represent the applicant organization by its governing board. So this has to be somebody, once you click this, hopefully it's somebody that whoever's completing the application has the authority to. Okay.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
about the budgets.
Okay.
The budget submissions. Do they have to use the budget templates provided?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because there's so many different organizations that uses different accounting firms and CPAs and accountants to do different looking financial statements. So you have to remember that we have a team of reviewers. I'm not reviewing all these applications. It's not just one person. It's lots of people, a whole team, a panel of people reviewing. So it's just easier for them if everything is uniform. Okay. And you can group, if it's a large organization that has lots of different categories and line items, expense line items, just try to group them as best you can. If you're having some extreme difficulty, call me, because we've had that in the past as well. Mr. Taylor, if you could mute yourself, that would be really, really lovely. Let me see if I can mute him.
Oh yeah, I just muted him.
Okay, great. Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. What was I saying? What
Just
was-
that many people are reviewing the
Oh,
application.
right. So yes, it really should be in that template if you can. Try your best to squeeze it in. You can add categories on that template, but yeah, try to squeeze it in there the best you can. If you cannot, just send me an email and we can figure it out. But I really do not need to have it all in that template because, again, I now have another whole workshop with reviewers to make sure everybody understands the review process, but it's just easier. Okay. Any other questions?
I think we're caught up.
Oh, goody. Okay, so let's just go quickly through. Section 14 is the biggest section. It has, I don't know, 7 or 8 different documents you have to upload here. Many of them we've already discussed. The very first one is your IRS tax determination letter. That's the letter that you received probably years ago that you were deemed a 501c3 by the IRS. That's the letter that should be uploaded here. It is not the letter that you got from the IRS when you got your federal ID number. That's not the letter. We need to see the letter that says that they've deemed you a 501c3. Okay, and I have examples of these in the next couple of slides. The next one is the IRS exempt select check search. This is the, if you click, when you click this blue link, goes to irs.gov charities, and that exempt search, that's the website that will come up and show the last 3 or 4 990s or 990 EZs or even the 990 Ns you filed in the past. I put the steps here. Please follow the steps, because when you first go in there and you put your name or your tax ID number in there and you click search, your organization's name will come up. Click your name, click the name of the organization. Don't stop there. Actually click on the name, and then it will open up and show all of the 990s each year that you filed. And that's what we want to see. So take a screenshot of that or copy it somewhere on your desktop. And that's what you upload here. And there's an example as well here in this blue link. So if you click that, it'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. The next one is your financial statements. This is where you submit your audited financial statement, and it does say not a review or compilation. Or your IRS form 990 or 990 EZ, okay? But don't put a 990 in here. Don't put that in there because we don't accept those. Okay. I do have the IRS link here again, just in case you want to go back and read the instructions for 990N. Here's a W-9. You upload your W-9 here. Everybody knows that, what a W-9 is. The next section is your good standing certificate. So I have the links for Maryland, Virginia, and DC here. But of course, if you were incorporated in another state, you would have to go to that state and get your 990. I also have examples here for Maryland, Virginia, and DC of what it should look like. It is not you can submit the certificate, but you aren't required to pay the $40 to get like the Maryland certificate of good hands. You don't have to do that. If you have it and you want to submit that, that's fine. But you don't have to. If you don't want to pay the $40, once you go to their website and you click and put your name in and it comes up, this organization is in good standing, just take a picture of it, or screenshot it or whatever and send us that page. You do not have to actually purchase the certificate, but we'll take that too if you want to. Okay. The last two on this page, in this section, is the ACH enrollment form. Again, if you click this blue link, it'll take you to the ACH enrollment form. And we do ask that even if you have received funds from the county, any part of the county government before, to please resubmit this form, because we want the most current information, banking information. This is where you put your banking information, where you want that direct deposit, which bank and which bank account. If you are awarded, that's where the Office of Finance will submit that payment there. So that's why we ask you to submit it every year, because we want, people change banks and all kind of things. So please submit that to us. The last one is the SAP vendor number. A lot of people already have that because they may have gotten funds from the county, any part of the county government before. If you have your number, your number, put it here, click save. If you've never received funds from the county government, that's fine. Just click this blue link down here at the bottom. It'll take you directly to the online registration form, which is under the Office of Central Services. Complete the form and click submit. It'll go to Central Services. They will not send you an email back right away in order to put the number on this application. Okay, it takes them about a week, maybe a week and a half or so to get that number back to you. But complete the form, and then right here where it says SAP form completed, click the box. Click the box and then save. That lets us know that you have completed the form, and Central Services will be sending you the SAP number. Okay. But if you have any questions, or if you've lost your SAP number, you don't remember it or whatever, send us an email. Kanika will respond back. She'll research your SAP number and send it back to you in an email to the same PGC Nonprofits email account. Okay. Oh, we're done. So section 15 is submit application. This big blue box here, print application. If you want a copy of what you've submitted, click this and print it or save it to PDF somewhere on your desktop. This is going to print save the application or print it for you, okay? Do that first before you click submit, because once you click submit, you're done, okay? When you click submit, and it'll say your application has been submitted successfully, you're going to get an email like this, just like the email you got when you first started. You're going to get one when you submit. It comes from the same no reply, same subject line, and it says you submitted your application successfully, and you're done. Okay. Once you click submit, you cannot go back in. Okay. So hopefully you've put everything in that portal, because you cannot go back in. Okay. Let's go back. If you click the submit button and you miss something in the application, hopefully up top, if the application is working properly, it'll tell you which section that you've missed. If you missed checking a box, or if you've missed uploading a document, it will not let you submit if it's working right, and it'll tell you which section that you've missed. Then you go back and complete those sections, come back here, print your application, and click submit, and then you'll get that email, and then you're done. Okay. So let's just review the documents. All right, there's your IRS determination letter.
Ms.
So,
Curry,
yes.
did you want to do this first, or we do have some questions from?
Oh, no, we can do the
trying to hold
questions.
you to let you finish.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay. One is just someone asking if we could put the URL to the CPG website in the chat. I'll do that.
Okay.
Do the reviewers use a rubric, and is that something you could share with applicants?
They do, and right now we do not usually share that. But you know what? It's the same. It's the same as the proposal narrative information. It's the same exact thing. The rubric really is just a sheet of paper that has these same categories, and with the same amount of points attached to it, and the reviewer just reviews the organization mission, whatever, if they think it's good or not, or somewhere in the middle, they'll give you between 1 and 10 points. Same with statement of need. So this is critical right here, okay? And even for organization budget and project budget, I know you're submitting your actual templates for that, but right here in the narrative, write something about your budgets. This money is for this, and we need that, and this is why we're asking for this much. Give us a written narrative even of your budgets. So the more you explain to us, the better it is. But no, we don't usually send out the rubric, but it really is just this right here. Okay.
Another question is, they're saying that they just noticed the statement, if you are a church and not required to file a 990, just enter a brief statement. Is the statement just one to indicate the organization is a church and not required to file a 990? So I guess, what is the brief statement?
That you are a church and you're not required. Because there are some churches that still have separate 501c3s that operate a nonprofit. And there are some churches that don't have a 501c3 but still operate a program. So just tell us that you are not a 501c, but you are a church. Churches are just automatically not required to file anything. And just tell us that in the statement. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so just reading this one's a little long.
Take your time. Take your time. We still have time.
Okay, so I think this is just, I'm just going to direct this person to send an email. It's a question about the audited financial report, but when looking at awards. Okay, and I think this is more of a question. Just someone asking that money stay with organizations inside the county and instead of outside the county. I think those are the only two questions that we really had.
Okay. Okay, great. So let's just go through these the documents real quick. So like I was saying, this is the IRS letter that came to you when you were deemed a 501c3. So we need to see that. Okay. The next thing, this is the IRS exempt organization select check search. So this is what happens when you click that link. You can put your organization's name here, or if you click the blue box, you can also put your federal ID number there, and then you just click search. Okay, once you click search, that's when your name will come up, the organization's name. Click on your name, and then that's when it should show you all the 990s that you filed in the past. Okay. This is talking about 990s and audited financial statements, but I think we've talked about that a lot. And if there are any more questions about that, please don't hesitate to email me or call me. That's the 990N, which I showed you before, and the reason why we don't accept it, because it's really just a postcard. And now it's completely virtual it's not even a physical card anymore. You just submit this information to the IRS. The other instructions for the 990N, of course, you can look at that on their website. I got this directly from their website. That's the W-9. Everybody knows that one. This is the good standing. So this is when you click the link for the Maryland good standing, this is what'll come up. And as you can see, it says this organization is in good standing. So that's really all we need. You can screenshot it or take a picture of it with your phone and upload that document into the portal. You do not have to pay the $40 for the certificate and send that. Okay, but if you have it and you want to do that, that's fine, but you don't have to. So this document, a lot of folks send us over here. This is the Maryland State Charitable Registration Letter. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, we are looking for whether you are in good standing with SDAT. Okay. This is just what the ACH form looks like. So you'll complete this with all your banking information and upload that into the portal. I think most people are familiar with that. If you have any questions, again, just call me. And this is the SAP vendor registration form. And this is what, when you click that link, it's going to take you here. You fill this out, and this is coming directly from the Office of Central Services. And down here, when you click send, it goes to them. Nothing will come back to you to upload in the portal. Just click the little box that tells us you completed this and save. That's it. They will send you something later on. If you do not receive anything from OCS, shoot us an email in the PGC nonprofits and say you haven't heard from them. And then Kanika will figure out why or find your SAP number for you. Okay, but just send me an email or call me. Okay.
Ms.
All
Curry,
right. Yes, ma'am.
we have some questions, and then I also just wanted to add on to when you're applying for the SAP vendor number. I just want to remind people that that is a lengthy process. That's not a 1 or a 2 day process. So if you don't have a vendor number right now, that's probably the first thing that I would do coming off of this call.
Yes, good point, Kanika.
Right, because you know, the Office of Central Services, they're processing applications for other vendors trying to do business with the county. And your organization is just one of the many that they are processing. So that process can sometimes take a week and a half. And also just to note, like, when you're starting that process, you should really thoroughly read the email that's given to you, because a lot of times it is a 2-step process, and a lot of folks miss that second step. So they think that they've completed, but they've only done the first step, and it's a 2-step process, and some of those emails go to spam. So just want to really encourage people to start the SAP vendor process as soon as possible. And again, you can always send an email so that we can look into that for you, but it does take some time. Some questions from the chat. Could you make a list available of the organizations that apply, in case organizations want to like potentially partner with other organizations, so they know who's out there and what people do?
So we do have lists on the website, the same place where you apply, of organizations that have received and have been awarded funding. So you can certainly take a look at those lists. And that goes back to the beginning of the Oswald-Bursick administration, back to 2019, FY 2019. So all 5 of those years lists are on our website. As far as the list of all of the people that have applied, no, it's just, that's way too many, and not in a forum that, and even in the last 3 years, that's just information that stays in the portal. So, but you certainly can look at the ones that have been awarded. Yes.
Okay, this has been a repeat question, so I think it's worth asking. If you apply for the program last year and you receive the funding, can you apply for the exact same program that you're still doing this year?
Of course.
And
yes.
And will the reviewing committee consider that to be, you know, lower than a new or a different program?
No, because we understand organizations are running these programs every year. If you're running the same program, the same after school or art program or mental health program, you don't just shut it down after 1 year. You keep running it every year. You want to run it for 30 years, like Kim Rim. We all want to be like Kim Rim and have the training source for 30 years. So absolutely, you apply every year, because we know you have to run that business for another year. So no, it wouldn't. It's a good thing that we see you running. We want you to run for 30 years because we know our residents need your services. So it's actually a good thing to keep applying with the same program. You're doing the same great work. You put that in your proposal, that I've been doing this for 5-10 years, and all the statistics on how you've improved the lives of people in Prince George's County, kids or senior citizens or whatever it is. That's actually a good thing to talk about. So no, we would look at that favorably.
This question has also come through multiple times. If you've already submitted your 2022 return as a 990N, Ms. Curry, are you aware if the IRS will let you refile for a 990EZ?
I'm not aware if you can or not. that would be a question. You could certainly call them and ask them that question. Or if you have a CPA, that you can pick up the phone and call. That I can't answer that question, yes or no. We've had that question before, and some people have gone ahead and filed it anyway. But again, it would still have to show up. Like if you've filed already for this or for 2022, and now you want to file a 990 now in order to apply for the community partnership grant, it's not going to show up in that quick a time. You know what I mean? On the IRS website. But I would still call them, because I really should call them too and ask the question. I haven't done that. So the answer is I don't know. But again, even if you did do it, it still may not show up on their website for us to approve, you know, to approve you for the funding.
And then another quick question. Someone was asking, if you apply for $50,000, would you perhaps get 15? I guess just maybe wondering, you know, what's the likelihood of actually getting the amount that you apply for?
So it just depends on your proposal. There's so many things that go into, you know, how much we give organizations. Yes, of course, there are organizations that have applied for a certain amount and gotten that amount. And some might get half or whatever, somewhere in between. So it depends on a lot of things. Depends on, like, for instance, the education and youth section is probably our biggest group of nonprofits. In that section, it would be difficult to give every one of those nonprofits what they've asked for, because again, we only have $2.5 million. And we have to try to spread it to all of the other different categories: mental health, you know, violence prevention, community development, food pantry, all the different categories. So it's rare when an organization gets exactly what they asked for, because we have to spread it around so much, but it does happen. So it depends on the year. It depends on what the review panel is. It depends on the county executive and what her initiatives are by the time we get to, you know, February, March. So it depends on a lot of things, but you aren't guaranteed to get what you ask for, but it doesn't mean you may not get it. So.
Okay, and I think someone's also asking if we could put the reporting template, the reporting template for if you are awarded the funds in the, if we could share that so people know, I guess, have an idea of what they should be tracking.
The final report?
I believe so. It says, can you put the link for the report format for reporting on past grants?
Yes. So in that section, here, section 9 for final report requirements, if you click that big blue link, that's going to take you to the Washington Regional Grant Makers Common Grant Report Form. Okay, that's what we look for, that type of report. You don't necessarily have to use theirs, but it's a great tool. It is, a lot of people use it, and so yes, that would be the place you should start there. Yeah. But that's a live link in the portal that you can click, and it takes you right to their website, and it shows you exactly what the form looks like.
And I think that is the last question right now.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's get back to the end. I think we were ACH, SAP vendor, things to remember. Always follow instructions, keep track of your application ID number, be attentive to all formatting and submission requirements, proofread your proposal. That's a big one. Make sure all information submitted in the application is accurate, and present realistic grant budgets. That's an important one too. Make sure it makes sense. That's the biggest thing I tell people all the time. It has to make sense. Okay, so don't wait until the last minute. Please don't email me on November 10th. unless something massive, really terrible is going on. Try to get the questions in before then. Don't make assumptions. Yes, ask for clarification. If you have the littlest question, don't hem and haw over it, just call me. Copy anyone's grant. Okay, so that's a obvious one. Don't hesitate in contacting us. PG, that's the email address. I think it's on the next slide. There it is. One application per entity. So that's the website. I think Kanika is putting it in the, I'm sorry, did you have a question, Yvette?
Yeah, I did. And I put it in the chat too. No one responded to a couple of
sorry.
questions. Well, the first one, can you send out our vendor number?
And so
That
I,
was we-
I did respond to that. You need to send an email and we'll respond to your vendor number there.
Yes, see this
Oh.
email address here, pgcnonprofits@co.pg.md.us. Kanika or Juanita, could you put that in the chat maybe for folks?
I think I
Yeah,
responded to it twice.
I
Okay.
didn't see it. I'm trying to go back and forth with the chat and then the slides. And then the other thing was I made a comment because when you call the IRS, you don't get a live agent. So, and I've been trying to reach the IRS for multiple things. You do not get a live agent.
I understand.
So how can we, when you say contact the IRS about our 990, our most recent one, if they haven't uploaded it, how do we get to someone?
That's a very good question, and it's a question I can't answer because I don't work or represent the IRS. I do understand the difficulty with that. You just have to keep trying. I don't know. Oh, maybe Shonda knows. Shonda, do you know how to reach the IRS?
Yes, I just put the phone number in the chat for charitable organizations. If you call that number and you choose like whatever the option is that you're calling about, you will get an agent.
Thank you,
Okay.
Shonda. I need to write that number down too.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if in the chat, I can't get back to the chat now.
Can you just read the number out loud?
Yes.
Everybody can write it
Sure,
down.
it's 1-877-829-5500.
Okay.
And that's also a number where if organizations are trying to fund your nonprofit, they're able to call that number as well to verify.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, Beth, did you have another question?
No, thank you so very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome, darling. Thank you. Okay, so everybody knows the PGC Nonprofits email address. You guys have our website, and that's again our email address. And this is my work phone number. So write that number down. That's me, Sheila Curry, 240-495-5471. It's my work cell. I have it with me all the time. Well, not on the weekends, but during the week, you can call me anytime for any question at all in reference to the community partnership grant. I'm happy to help. Okay. And well, look at that. Thank you. I think we're done. Are there any more questions out there, Kanika?
There was just one person asking about more information about the November 1st gathering.
Oh, yes, I do have let me stop sharing because I have to get another I had it already open. And I'm going to send this information out as well today for everybody. Share my screen. Nope, that's not it. This is it. And share. So yes, we are having, can everybody see that? Kanika, can you guys see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is our nonprofit empowerment symposium. We are having this at on Wednesday, November 1st.
Miss Sheila, you're gonna have to scroll down. We only see a portion of the flyer.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, Barbara, I'm glad you are on the phone. Can you go ahead and do your beautiful presentation on our symposium? Please, thank you, ma'am. I'm the nuts and bolts, She is the beautiful sparkle and sprinkle.
We're a great team. We're a great team.
Thank
We
you,
are
we are.
excited.
Oh,
Yes.
go ahead, darling.
Okay, we're excited about the Nonprofit Empowerment Symposium. And as Ms. Sheila mentioned, she will send this flyer out with the Eventbrite link. We highly, highly recommend that you register today. It is pre-registration. We have a capacity space as well. It will be at the Prince George's Community College. It is an all-day affair of information, resources, and grant opportunities. Again, it is part of our C3 experience: connect, collaborate, and cultivate relationships. You will see on the flyer, not only we're giving you information and resources, but we're going to feed you breakfast, lunch, and heavy hors d'oeuvres. This is a free event. So we highly recommend that you register yourself, your staff, your board members. You're going to walk away with information from the county, state, and federal grant information. And someone said, is this a free event? Free, F-R-E-E, free event. Yes, we are so excited about this. And Ms. Sheila has been speaking to so many of the presenters. It is going to be an event that you do not want to miss. We're excited about what County Executive has given us the charge to do this, and she's standing with us. As you can see, we are Prince George's proud that we want to continue to serve our nonprofit organizations. And someone just asked, can you put the link in the chat? Let me see if I can do that. I know we'll probably be ending this session very soon, but when you receive the email, the link will be in the email as well as on the flyer. So if I can't get to it fast enough, you'll be able to receive it. And someone may have already put it in. This is what I'm talking about when I say
we got a great team. Yes.
I don't have my glasses to see the name, but thank you so very much for putting it in for us.
Okay, so I think, let me see, what else do I have? Okay, so that's not bad. All right, so I think, Miss Bailey, do you have a question?
I do. I wonder if you could just give a little more detail about the event on the 1st. I'm trying to think through who on our team it would make sense to send.
Sure. So I would suggest, for example, we're going to have representatives from Maryland Nonprofit. And so they're going to talk about board leadership, building capacity. So if you're a small nonprofit or even a large one, we want to talk with you, speak with you rather, so you'll have a better idea of how to continue to grow your nonprofit like a Kim Rim. If you have someone that is on your board or on your staff or volunteers that know how to work with grant opportunities, exactly to what Ms. Sheila has just mentioned. We're going to share that grant funding across county, state, and federal opportunities. And everyone that has that grant opportunity, there are different requirements. There are different questions that could be asked. So I definitely would suggest that you have your board members or you have someone that volunteer that is in that field, because it's always important if someone is there inside a part of what we're doing that day, they're able to get the information and take it back with you, take it back with them as well. And we'll have exhibitors. So during our Q&A session and during the networking and the breakfast and lunch in the evening, that is a reason why we've designed it so you can meet those individuals that are going to share about the nonprofit opportunities available. Did that help? Think so. I didn't hear anything back.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All righty. So remember, guys, I'm going to send this out sometime this afternoon. So you guys will all receive it in your email. Again, if you don't receive it, shoot me an email and then I can forward it to you. But we hope that you all will join us for this wonderful event. Lots of grant funding out there, and we're trying to find it all for you guys so that you can apply. So we know you need it and we're looking for you. And that's part of our job. Okay. All right, Kanika, any more questions before we close?
Let's see. I think it's just, has registration open for the symposium? The link says no tickets are available.
Oh, I don't know. So we have to, that's IT or
Yeah,
Olivia?
so I'm gonna jump off right now because let me focus on that. Thank you, Miss Sheila, and thank you for whomever asked. I'm jumping off. I'm gonna handle it now. Bye.
Thank you, Barbara.
Barbara, it's open.
Oh, it's open. Okay.
Yes. A couple
Okay,
of people said we registered.
Okay, thank you, whoever's, that's my Miss
Okay.
Shawn. Thank you,
Yes,
Shawn.
all right, great. So it should be
Woo.
working. But if it is not, shoot me an email, PGC
Yes.
Nonprofits, or call me and let me know if it's not working. Because it is open. It is in the Grand Theater at the community college. It seats 700. So bring everybody. All right. So any other questions?
Yeah, it looks like it might just, a couple of people are having problems with it, and I guess a couple of people it's worked for, so it looks like it probably does need some follow-up, but
Yeah, I'll
Uh-huh.
check, because I tested it last night myself, so we did some tests behind the scenes, so I will look into it again, because it was working well. I see some of y'all it's working, some it's not, so we'll try.
Okay. And it might be
definitely
one of
look into it.
those like Google or the browser thing
something's
issue.
stopping it.
Yeah.
May have to refresh.
Yeah, okay, but thanks for letting us know, because we'll try to fix it. Again, if you cannot get in today or tomorrow, just shoot me an email. Okay. How are we looking, Kanika? Any questions?
I think we're good now.
Okay. Well, this was wonderful. Everybody, thank you once again for joining the workshop. We so appreciate it. Please apply. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me or shoot or call me. Either one, I'm always here. We love you guys, and we're working hard to try to get you some more funding with the symposium. But thank you. This has been great. And enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curry.
All righty. Thanks, Kanika, Barbara,
Thank you.
Juanita. Thank you.
Miss Sheila, can you stop recording that and we can just stay on?
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, let me just stop sharing. And